Chat, what is up? Chat, Josh. All right, here's the deal, boys. I'm tired. One,
brand
two,
new baby will do that to you.
Two, I'm getting some caffeine in me, so maybe on the back end of the show I'll have a little bit more energy. But Josh, go ahead and give the people a little introduction. What we got going on? I mean, it's a slow news week,
Yeah,
news
yeah,
weekend.
exactly. Only just a bunch of brown people setting fire to our cities and World War III right around the corner.
Yeah, that's it. That's all.
No big deal.
You know what we really need to worry about though, Josh, is we have this national debt, right? And if we don't get this thing under control, none of this even matters, right? I mean, we're just being invaded, but 80% of the people on Twitter want the debt to be fixed. So it's like, maybe we should not pass the bill that builds the wall. Maybe we should not pass the bill that gets rid of these people. Maybe we should not pass the bill that actually fixes the country. You're not going to fix the debt unless you get rid of all of these freeloaders that are inside the country. You say, they go to work, they're productive. No, they're freeloaders. They're inside of the country. They're benefiting from the country. They're benefiting from the natives and the heritage Americans that have built this country and that are supposed to inherit this country. And so now, guess what, Josh? You maintain this debt until these foreign invaders are gone. That's if you even maintain a government while they're here.
And here's the thing. This is something a coworker of mine said this morning is that you'll never be able to convince him that the American youth don't want to do these strawberry picking type jobs. And here's the thing.
Well, correct.
I mean, there's truth.
Well, I mean,
but they don't want to do it
Yeah,
because it's not worth it.
Right, it's not worth it.
It's a lot of effort, and it's not worth it whatsoever. If it were worth the effort, there's plenty of young people going into construction, but they're getting beat out by who, Zeb?
They're getting beat out by these guys that are burning the country to the ground.
Right.
If you import the foreign labor,
there was the
wages go down.
There was a headline on Fox News today that said it was essentially like we're targeting the worst ones. We're targeting the worst of the worst of the immigrants.
Oh, no.
And I was like, I want you to target the best of the best. We want them all gone.
All of them. Well,
it's like we said last week. Start with Abuelita.
Here, let's do this. We're gonna do a lot of Twitter scrolling today because Twitter's kind of where it's happening right now. There's some side business going on that I kind of want to get to before we dive headfirst into these riots. And Stephen Miller.
Popping off, huh?
Stephen Miller's the man, dude. I don't know. I tweeted, I said, if Stephen Miller can pull off what he's tweeting about, he can stay. How about that? Deal? That's a deal. Not only can he stay, we'll make him future consul. But yeah, I just want to touch on this real quick. I mean, you have illegal immigrants being extremely bold and stating on Twitter, actively coming at the vice president of the United States. Let me see if I can pull this up for y'all. This is hilarious. This is happening right now too. This is absolutely hilarious. Boom. Does that work? Can y'all see that? No. Where is? Sorry, chat.
Oh.
Sorry, chat. Give me a second. What is going on? No.
Help.
Might have to hit the pause button and figure out what's going on.
I
here.
can filibuster until while you figure that out. I mean, I don't know about the Twitter feed, but you know something we should react to today at some point? If we can pull up JD Vance's comments on Theo Von's podcast about Palantir.
Yeah.
And did you see, you had to have said, but did you see his take that basically, like, Theo Von says, well, lobbyists are taking over our government. And JD Vance's response was, well, lobbyists go for the candidate that they agree with. So it's really irrelevant what the lobbyist interests are. You see that?
No, I didn't see that.
You didn't
clip.
see that?
No,
Funny.
I didn't see that clip.
Did you get it working? I can't
I think
tell.
so. It's better. We'll get there. 2 seconds. Chat. Plague fleas. What's up, dude? Brown Dawn. Yeah, basically.
That's funny.
Basically. Yeah, we'll definitely get into the JD Vance, Theo Vaughn podcast. There's a couple more clips that I saw that were a little bit less triggering. I don't know what the word on that is. I retweeted. Oh, this is also Eric Prince tweeting like less than an hour ago at the mayor of Los Angeles talking about. Let me back this up and zoom it in again. So y'all can see her stupid face. Is that better? Boom. There we go. Okay, now we're good. Mayor says the deployment of National Guard to Los Angeles has been a chaotic escalation. The city will remain focused on protecting all who call LA home. Does that include the ones waving a foreign flag, Josh? Do they call LA home if they're waving a Mexican flag? Let's just start there. Let's just, let's start baseline logic before we even get into the ideas of a nation. Wouldn't you think somebody that calls LA home fly an American flag?
You would think.
You would think so. But this is Eric Prince. You know who Eric Prince is?
Yeah.
He says, you're the embodiment of the problem. You Castro-loving communist apologist, which I thought was funny. I mean, he doesn't tweet very much, but when he does, he gets some eyeballs, and yeah, they're pretty solid bangers. Let's go through a couple of Stephen Miller posts before we get to the JD Vance one I'm thinking about. California is the largest sanctuary state in America. The state has ordered every police department and sheriff's office in the state not to cooperate with federal immigration enforcement, even if they have committed grievous crimes. Illegals are given free welfare, health care, and conceivable state benefits. Every other conceivable state benefits. They are made immune to in every way. Simply put, the government of the state of California aided, abetted, and conspired to facilitate the invasion of the United States. You know what he's calling for here, Josh? He's calling for the arrest of Gavin Newsom and the mayor.
I'm down.
And I think Trump kind of followed up with it too. There's a JD Vance tweet. Did you see this clip? There's so much good stuff coming out.
Firing rubber bullets at protesters, moving them on through the heart of LA.
You okay?
Bro, watch this cop, dude. They're over there just chilling, right? The cops are over there just chilling in their line.
Look, and he just shot her for fun.
He's just chilling, dude. He's just chilling. Turns, looks, see the camera, sees a reporter, aims and pulls the trigger.
You okay?
That's awesome.
That
dude.
is
That's
hilarious. That is hilarious.
Live.
And I made this meme. I said you don't hate journalists enough.
So Ken of Wake Up Carolina, he said this morning, he goes, "What should if Trump sends in the Marines, what should his actual instructions be to them? Like, what is the goal? What is it like tangible? What should their orders be?" And I said he needs to get a barrel. He needs to give it to the head of the Marines and says, "Fill this with human teeth." That needs to be the goal. Get the billy clubs out and start bashing people's faces in. And then after the aftermath, go in the street and just pick them up and put them in the barrel. That's what needs to happen.
If that isn't what happens, what's the point? What's the point of these rubber bullets? Nobody cares. Until bodies start dropping, nobody's going to do anything. Nothing's going to change. They're just going to move on down the street after this street's burned up. They're going to they're going to go from Martin Luther King Boulevard to Malcolm X Street, right? They're just going to keep on moving down, and then they go to the next city, Martin Luther King Boulevard, burn that one down. That's what they're going to do. That's what they're going to keep doing until you start stacking bodies. And see, the problem
and
is,
it's going to happen.
And you really don't even need to call in the Marines. You just need to remove the ROEs, the rules of engagement that these local cops have. They could do the job, but their hands are so tied from Mayor Bass and the governor of California that are looking like they're both going to end up in prison. So I don't know. You got the president and you got Stephen Miller calling for both of them to be arrested.
You know me. I'm the habitual black pillar on the show.
Well, I mean, it's definitely not going to happen.
But
yeah, it's not going to happen. It's just words, dude.
I know, but oh man, how great would that be? And that's the thing is, it's like I don't like. Yeah, of course, like we don't want anyone to die, but the point is it's going to happen.
I mean, I'd rather not. If there was another option, yes, but there's not another option.
And but the question is, do you want it to be the cops or do you want it to be the illegals?
Yeah, somebody's gonna die. That's the inevitability.
Would you rather it be like one illegal and then a bunch of cops, or one cop and then a bunch of illegals? I know my answer.
Well, I mean, you don't even have to have the one.
That's true.
It's completely preventable. But no, this is what I was going to talk about. The menswear guy. I don't know if you're not habitually on Twitter like I am.
No.
The menswear guy is a dude that LARPs as a white American, basically. He doesn't say that, but he produces himself as if he is, if that makes sense. But he's a little vegan dude that is in the United States illegally, and he's openly boasted about being in the United States illegally yesterday. And then this dude says, JD Vance, I know you're reading this and you have the opportunity to do the funniest thing ever. And this is what JD Vance tweets.
That's funny.
So,
but
are we going to get a deportation? And then what happened after this was kind of funny too. Let me see if I can get it pulled up. What's his name? Come on,
Peter. Come on, man.
I'm gonna get a quartered one here in a second. Why is it not working?
Oh, it's flashing red now.
Yeah, we should charge this thing. Menswear guy. There we go. And then he goes on like a little, I don't know, rampage or whatever. And let me see if I can find it. Oh, and then he goes and attacks JD Vance and says, I think I can outrun you in these clothes. It's like, dude, how bold do you have to be to say that you're here illegally, one, two, then start tagging the vice president?
Yeah, this is where freedom of speech goes a little too far, in my opinion. Well, hey, he's an illegal, so he doesn't even have it.
Yeah, if they don't go through due process coming in, there's no due process going out. Screw it. But I want to go back to the JD Vance post right here. Josh, nowhere in this post is he tagged.
Oh. He's
scrolling our Twitter feeds, and a lot of the rhetoric that comes out of some of the at least some of the Stephen Miller stuff and some of the stuff he's said on the Theo Von podcast is very notably our Twitter circles, like very notably, like especially when he there's a clip on there where he brings up the Confederate registry, the Union and Confederate registry from the Civil War. Mm-hmm. Like that's very much a Twitter circle thing.
I'll take your word for it.
It's just extremely coincidental.
Yeah, okay.
What did it mean? It means that he floats in our circles in some form.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
But I thought that was
conclusion.
Even beyond the riots, you have people like this that are bold enough to, literally. What's the matador with the
red bull?
Yeah, he's just tempting the bull, dude. It's like you're gonna get stuck. Keep going. Catch up with chat. How we doing today? Sweet REMs. Trump will try to fulfill his mandates in California as an example to the rest of the country. When Trump refuses to endorse Elon for governor, the AI wars begin. That's a that's a lot right there. I don't know, dude. Elon deleted all of his tweets, all of his Trump tweets from the other day. Deleted.
He had a spurg out, man, and then he woke up.
He got sober. That's what happened.
Yeah, exactly. The ketamine wore off.
Yeah. Would Elon run for governor of California? I don't think so. Elon wants to start this third party that has 80, like he said, he claims is an 80% party. It's like, dude, your 80% party went up in flames the moment LA riots started and cars started going up in flames, right? It proved the entire point that the bill that is being built to curb immigration and start deporting people is what needs to be passed. And no one actually cares about the national debt right now because you can't fix it in the current state of things.
Right.
It's unfixable.
Yeah. Well, and this is what I don't understand. My coworker Ken, he says that like the things you have to do in order to fix it are slash entitlements and slash the military. And he says nobody is going to run on that. So what are we doing?
What are we doing? What are we doing, dude? Yeah. Malarkey says, I've been arguing with a girl now for days about this. There are plenty of lefty positions I disagree with, but I can understand their reasoning. With illegal immigration, I don't understand their position at all.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's simply this. We know where it comes from, where this pro-immigration originates from, but the argument, like this is basically how it makes sense to girls is we can do whatever we want forever, so why not be nice to everybody and let them in? They're people too. They're just as, they're like women. Modern women have no sense of nationalism anyway. They don't even know what a nation is.
I would take it even further. It's not just lefties; it's libertarians, and we've said on the show many times before about that libertarians are worse than liberals. We're gonna. I don't want. Let me do this a different way. We're gonna talk about Massey, but I want to get there through Stephen Miller's tweets. Basically, Stephen Miller called out Massey for being a libertarian that doesn't want border walls, which he is exactly correct. Dude, we just need to scroll his whole feed. This thing is golden. Sorry, chat. Bear with me. Anyway, go ahead. Say words, Josh. I
mean, yeah, like this is clearly
here
a problem.
Here it goes. He was replying to a tweet that Cernovich posted, but basically Massey says, "I condemn the violence in LA. I support a stronger border and agree strongly with deporting criminals." Also, here's a typical party hack. He strongly here's the thing you have to learn on Twitter is words have meaning. There's very overt and covert communication going on. Mm-hmm. When you read this first line, this first sentence, what does that mean to you, Josh?
I condemn the violence in LA. I support a strong border and I support a strong border.
Okay, finish it off.
And agree strongly with deporting criminals.
Okay. Deporting who, Josh?
Deporting criminals.
Okay. Does he define illegal immigrants as criminals?
Probably not.
No. Next. So this is what you have. You have a congressman saying that he doesn't want to deport illegals. He only wants to deport criminals. This is quite literally, and I like Massey.
I do too.
But this is the libertarian idea. They build this idea where it's just going to suicide itself. It's going to destroy the country. And there's no, in this position, there's no difference between Massey and Newsom.
Right.
Newsom would deport the criminals and leave the other illegals alone. This is the same position they have. It's not just leftist. It's libertarians too. They are a suicidal people. They're a suicidal ideology. It's boomerism. Cernovich has me blocked, but notice the wording. He doesn't support. Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah.
Oops.
Dude, Twitter's been funky lately. What? Maybe we can go.
It's connected to Elon's Neuralink, which is why it's all fucked up now.
See if we can get back to Stephen Miller.
I got eaten by bugs over the weekend.
Where'd you go? Beach?
Yep. My legs are killing me. I saw some sea turtles.
Did you?
Yeah, I was surprised. I wasn't expecting to.
June 8th. Yeah, let's just get to this. A riot of flying a foreign flag, ICE deportation. This is the beginning. This is kind of when it started. What, June 8th, June 7th, June 8th, that evening. Rand Paul, we don't have money to spend on Trump's border wall. These are your libertarians right here, Josh. Massey, Rand Paul, these are the kind of guys you want in Congress, but right now, guess what, Josh? They're a huge impediment to fixing the country.
I know.
I mean, if this was 1930, 1920, 1850, sure. We don't have that luxury.
Yes.
The debt doesn't matter.
That's the thing. Is it's like people like Thomas Massey, they see the border wall as like a preference. You know, it's like, okay, I think I'll put a little extra like mayonnaise on my cheeseburgers. Like, no, that is the meat, that is the bread, that's the patty, that's everything. Because with it, I mean, look at this. Literally, like, there hasn't even been a murder. There hasn't even been anything bad happen to the violent criminals, and the good ones, they're all coming out. They're all in the street. And that's our point about this, is it's like, oh, we're prioritizing the violent offenders. It only takes a little bit of what do you call it? Like decohesion for the quote unquote non-violent ones to become violent.
Yes. Yeah, and it was like we were talking about the other day about Patriot Front. All it takes is some show of force to embolden other people to start doing the thing, whatever that thing is. In this case, it's burning down cities. Sweet says, I think California is the economic fulcrum of the entire nation, and that has to mean something. I would agree. I think I know what you mean. It might seem like you're overstating it, but yes, I think I would agree with that. The problem is that California was built by people from the East that fled West to create something new. And that something new allowed for an invasion in itself. But the problem is California is still a part of America. And I looked it up the other day. You know how many illegals are in California alone? These are conservative numbers. Like 2 million.
Damn.
Just in California alone. And those are reported numbers. Those numbers are probably closer to 15. But I mean, even if you take the 2 million, you only have like 200,000 Marines. Like that's the scale of force that we're looking at right now. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Send in the Marines. Okay, we send in 200,000. How many illegals are they fighting? 2 million?
Hey man, they need to carpet bomb.
Guns aren't going to cut it.
they're gonna have to nuke LA.
We need to go full Vietnam napalm. Let's go, boys. Just start blanking. Let them ride in the street. Line them up. Streets are straight usually. Napalm.
Oh God.
But
I do think though, like, because I think what's gonna happen, like, best case scenario in this is the Marines go in and they stop the riots, but they're clearly like they're not going to use the Marines to deport 15 million illegals.
Correct. If the Marines come in, it is going to have to be lethal force. Yes. I think.
Does that kind of make you wish you were still in the Marines?
No. If I wasn't married and I didn't have kids, probably.
Yeah.
But see, this is the thing. It's like I have a duty to something greater than defending the United States in California.
That's fair.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Baby Una says, you're stretching it, bro. You're being sensational. I might be sensational in my movements. I don't think I'm sensational in my rhetoric. I know you said before you want every non-white person deported, so it makes sense you're being a sensationalist. I don't.
What is that?
Have I said that?
Every non-white person? No.
I mean, this is even if that was the case, that is like not even close to the top of the list right now.
Deporting
every non-white person.
No.
I'm pretty sure we've said something to the effect of there has to be some type of separate class. Like, I'm not opposed to segregation.
yeah. Because Sparky's saying, yes, you did say that. And here's
Maybe
the
I
thing.
did.
I'm sure. Like,
I was probably being sensational then.
Yes. This is the thing we've talked about before. Is it's like there's like this is what we talked about when the black guy was on Zoom. Is it's like would every single person in America being white solve all the problems we have caused by diversity? Absolutely. But will that realistically happen? No. However, deporting a large amount of the ones that are here illegally, that's totally within the possibility of reality. And like, so like people like Malarkey, African Americans, we've talked about this, that we have an obligation because they are basically now a distinct, African Americans are a distinct genetic group from Africans. And we can't just send them back to Africa because they've been acclimated to a quality of life here. They will be killed. I mean, despite what you say, like people act like Africa's, like you hear Dr. Umar, it's like everything's all hunky-dory. They're extremely tribalistic amongst themselves. There was a genocide against people that lived 5 miles away from each other like 10 years ago.
It's like this. I mean, maybe I did say that. And if I did, it was probably in a specific context, like create something again like Liberia, right? If you deported Black Americans, they would have to be sustainable within their own nation. That's kind of besides the point right now. Right now, we just got to stop the literal invasion from the southern border and some of the African countries. I mean, this is a recent invasion. This is like in the last 20 years. I mean, stacked on top of 65, but in the last 20 years, you've got these. I mean, Biden let in what, 10 million illegals? I mean, that's just in the last 4 years. Like, how many are there? So maybe I did say that, baby. I don't know. I mean, if I did, it was probably in a specific context. But yeah, am I being sensationalist on this? I don't think so. I think bodies have to hit the floor. If we are being invaded, which we are, if they are causing insurrection, which they are, then it is war. And it should be declared so. And as soon as it is, it'll be fixed. Maybe San Andreas Fault just happens to cause a massive earthquake and sends LA into the Pacific. I don't know, man. Everybody wants to give up California. I don't want to give up California.
No, absolutely not.
I want California. We got to keep California. But we got to make California great again. Maca. You know what I'm saying?
I'm down. And that's the thing. Ken brought up, and it's an interesting stat that like I had heard before, but hadn't really pondered. It's like there are more registered Republicans. Not that that's buys you a lot of credit in our book, but there's more registered Republicans in California than any other state. And I get it's a population thing, but the point being is it's like there's good people in California, but their voices are being stomped on by illegal immigrants and retards.
Yes. Well, all of the power is bottled up into these larger cities like San Francisco and LA.
Right.
In Southern California. Malarkey said, yeah, Africans won't accept blacks. Yep. Because here's the deal. And you are literally a different nation, just as I would argue that the South is a different nation from the North, which is why I have an issue with people from the North moving to the South. They don't assimilate. It's not theirs. And so in the same vein, Uno, I would deport these Yankees from the South back to where they came from.
I don't want to see another damn New Jersey license plate in my life.
I met a lady this morning from New Jersey. I was like, and she said she'd been here 3 weeks. I was like, we're sending you back. I didn't say that, but I really wanted to.
I mean, I have been priced out of my hometown.
But she seemed nice. And it's like, I don't care though. You don't belong here.
Yes. You don't get to come here with your big New England bucks and then displace the natives, the native South Carolinians or North Carolinians. Like, that's what I was saying. I can never, unless we hit it big, I can never afford on like my current job salary to buy a home in Charlotte where I grew up. You know why? because it is being flooded, the low income with illegals and the high income with people from New Jersey who
they
buy
gotta go back
at like an insane. Hey,
after we fix this illegal thing, all the Yankees are going back. We're rounding them up and sending them back too. Chat's against us, Josh. They think we need to give up California, dude. Margaret says California should be its own.
Y'all are on the goop.
California should be its own country. Chris B said California's cooked, lost cause.
It won't be cooked after we cook it with nukes. After we cook LA and San Francisco, then like the northern and like the ones that live in the mountains, they'll emerge. It'll be like Fallout for a few years. They'll be hunting like devastators or whatever they're called, and then yeah.
Michelle G, welcome to the stream. She says, "Yep, white ain't even from this side of the planet. Go back to Europe. This is Native America land." I would ask you,
that's funny.
What is America prior to Europeans landing there?
Okay, so
would it be America, Josh?
No,
it's not America.
No,
what is America named after?
America.
The Europeans.
Right. Also, by that same logic, all of the Jeets, all of the Mexicans, all of by that logic, all the Mexicans should be out of Mexico because they're mutts, you know. And are you okay with us kicking out all the Muslims, all the Arabs, all the Jews?
No.
You okay with that,
they just
Michelle?
They just want to have their double standard. It's
I mean, it is kind of a thing where like it's the only kosher way to insult liberals is to insult white women, but that is so true though that like a lot of white women.
What's what you say? So you would be for pulling out the military and American firm out of third world countries and keep them back home. This is to avoid being seen as hypocrites.
Well, I don't care if we're seen as hypocrites.
This isn't the same though, because we don't embed ourselves inside of the countries themselves and then try to usurp the system that is. Right? I'm pro colonialism. I'm pro imperialism, but that doesn't make me a hypocrite.
Here's my thing. The kind of stuff that is happening to America where foreigners are coming in, they're outbreeding and they're changing the makeup of the nation. I'm okay with us doing that.
It's like this.
I don't want it to happen to us. I want it to happen to them. That's not hypocritical. I'm not against it because I think invading nations and changing the way they operate is wrong. I mean, honestly, like I think a lot of nations would benefit from American soldiers being in there to establish order and control their governments.
No, colonialism is good. Colonization is good. And here's why. Let me see if I can pull this up. I'm gonna pull up my Twitter. There was a video shared. I think I shared it. Maybe I didn't. Was it on Twitter or was it on YouTube?
Would the nation of Haiti be better off if it was being controlled by America?
Absolutely. I think it was on YouTube. Let me see if I can find this thing real quick. Sorry, chat. Bear with me. It'll be worth it. I promise. Apparently, you remember Mr. Beast did his whale thing in Africa like a year ago?
Yeah.
They're all dried up. That's basically the point I'm making. They're all dried up. They don't exist anymore. Why, Josh?
Why?
They haven't been maintained. Why haven't they been maintained, Josh?
No kidding. Because there's to quote Frank Zanu, there is no word for maintenance in any African language. An Ibu.
Yeah. There's no word for maintenance because it doesn't exist over there. Where was it? Anyway, I can't find it, chap. You're just going to have to trust me. Anyway, they said zero of the wells that Mr. B, what did he put in, like 1,000 wells? Zero of the wells he put in are all dried up. They don't exist anymore because they were incapable of maintaining them. Colonialism is good because it enables nations or countries to exist and maintain the infrastructure that has been given to them by colonizers or white people. Call it what you will. What are we talking about in chat? Where are we going? Where were you getting sent to? I'm sorry, we clearly embed ourselves in other countries. Some countries have our damn currency. See, I don't think you're understanding. Well, they have our currency because we're the world reserve currency. There's always going to be a reserve currency regardless of who it is. That's just the nature of money. That's just the nature of how money works, right? So if the U.S. fell, you would have another currency that was world reserve currency, and then all of those countries would adopt that. They would have to, just because you have to have a standard for the currency itself. Like I said, dude, I'm scared of Haiti. I visited once, and it's a beautiful island, but I probably wouldn't go back. Was Liberia better off without America, or
Libya.
looking at Libya now? And obviously, yes. Oh, well, obviously, yes. Well, let me tell you a little story about Libya. So I was in the Marine Corps, 2016. Obama's president, and we dropped a record number of bombs. So I'm sitting on a ship called USS Wasp. We drop, and I go to the USS Carney, and we do some observations. So you could say I oversaw the destruction of Libya. Anyway, I watched literal bombs flatten Libya, specifically Sirte. Sirte is this city, much like Myrtle Beach, very touristy type. Big skyscraper hotels, flat, done. Look up some before and after images of Sirte, Libya, Sirte. But anyway, yes, but that's not the same thing, is it? Is it not the same thing? I'm not going into Libya and invading. We're just dropping bombs. This is a difference.
Oh, yeah. Of course, of course.
The argument was we were dropping bombs on ISIS, which we were, but ISIS had already ran everybody out, and so we just flattened the place anyway. I don't agree with it. But the point being said, it's not the same. I guess the question would be, is Rhodesia or Zimbabwe better without whites? Is South Africa going to be better without their colonization? Look at any other country that's been colonized in specifically West Africa. Is it better off without that colonization? The answer is obviously no. Is the places that Mr. Beast put the whales in Africa better off a year later without being colonized or leaving somebody behind to maintain those whales? The answer is no, they're not better off because for whatever reason, it's not the skin color. There's something else that doesn't allow for the maintenance of the thing to maintain itself. I wish it wasn't this way, guys. I wish it wasn't, but it is. Watch a video of Haitians eating dirt cookies. Tropical island, no farms, no fishing. Dude.
Haiti's cooked, dude.
Yeah, Haiti's cooked, dog. Is Haiti better off?
You know what the average IQ is in Haiti?
Is Haiti better off?
67.
Is Haiti better off with or without the whites that they killed, Josh?
It's better with.
There's a difference between colonization and dropping bombs.
Yeah, we it's more akin to call like these illegals here colonizers.
Yeah. To be fair, guys, Africa is good to sort themselves out now. We don't need to be there anymore, or else we look like we're trying to bed ourselves there.
That's what we want to do.
I mean, I would prefer to pull out, fix our country, and then maybe let's look back out there. But the problem is we've created these, what are they called? Cargo cults that literally survive off of imported foods. We drop crates and they go and they get the crates and they eat. And like, that's how they survive. They survive off of white man give me things. And so if we pull out of Africa,
oh man, that's so I was at a state park this weekend, and they had there were alligators there. Mm-hmm. I sent you a video of one.
Oh, don't feed alligators.
And it was don't feed the alligators. And then it said why? Because if you feed them, they forget how to take care of themselves and they become dependent on us.
That's crazy.
And then they come near us. Then they start to seek out people. And when they don't get what they want, they get violent.
No, Josh.
And that's
not how it works, is it?
That's exactly how it's how it works with reptiles.
Elon says, actually, humanity is only 1% of the way towards type 1 civilization. We could generate at least 2 orders of magnitude or more electricity than we do now. Elon needs to go back to South Africa or India. Like, pick one, dude. We're done. We're done here, dude. Let's go back to Stephen Miller. I want to watch some of these videos too. Yeah, Josh. I mean, you got people posting these pictures thinking like this is a win. Is this a win, Josh? Is this a win for anybody? This is
America.
This is America. This is.
The immigrants that have been arrested. We are here to say end the ICE raids. We are here to say free the immigrants that have been arrested. The immigrants that have been arrested. We are here to say end the ICE raids.
Okay, that's enough of that. She needs to go back to wherever she came from too. See, well, first of all, these Americans shouldn't be in office either.
Yeah. People with dual allegiance, like an obvious dual allegiance, need to be shipped out.
Like what? Like what does this look like, Josh? You know when you take a flag and you plant it in the ground and you wave it around after you've declared victory.
Yeah.
That's what you do, Josh. That's what the Iwo Jima Memorial is. They're planting it at the top of the hill because they won the battle.
Right.
LA's conquered, dog. It's over. Cooked. Not California, chat. We can keep California. We can fix California. California's fixable. This is Ilhan Omar's daughter talking about from LA to Rafah, there's one common oppressor, death to the colonial empire. Right? When you have people like Ilhan Omar that marry her brother to get into the U.S. and then start running for elected office. I mean, this is what we're talking about. They're usurping the system within the system. I have no issue if we invade a country and they fight back. I have no issue with that. This is where the hypocrisy would probably come up.
Yeah.
That's what's happening to us. We are being invaded and we're fighting back.
Mm-hmm.
I have no issue with another country fighting back if we invade them. That's understandable.
That's expected.
That would be hypocritical if I was against them fighting back after we invaded. That's not what's happening here.
Right. That's a good point.
Patrick Buchanan quotes: "If one wishes to see America's future, he need only drive through L.A." that was probably back in the 90s.
So yeah, imagine see these pictures right here. In if we don't turn things around in 20, 40 years, that will be Dayton, Ohio. That will be Fargo, North Dakota.
There's no way to stop. I'm gonna pull up a chart here in a second, and it's gonna blow your mind. I don't think you've seen it. It's gonna blow your mind when I bring up this chart.
Can't wait.
Let's see, Baby Uno. Illegal immigrants must go back home. Yes,
agreed.
Or they must go somewhere. I don't care if they go home.
Yeah.
I don't care if they go to heaven. I don't care if they go to hell. But they're going somewhere. They're going somewhere, not here.
Well, I got an idea. Okay. What if it's like, if you come here illegally, we're not going to deport you to wherever you came from. We're going to deport you to the heart of Africa. We're going to deport you to the Congo. Well, here's where the Chinese are going to put chains on your ankles and make you swing axes for and looking for lithium till you die, which would be like in 4 weeks.
Here's a thought I had the other day, and somebody might have said this before me. It's like we should clear out what good is Australia? Like nothing really comes out of Australia, right, Josh?
They got some pretty white people.
Well, we can take those white people and transplant them somewhere else. Because I want to use Australia as a world's prison. We need constant flights to Australia. They don't even have to land. Just drop them out the back. Maybe give them a little half a parachute or something. Drop them out the back. Drop them in some water. Everybody has access to drop people off in Australia. It's not, it fixes the prison problem, right? We have a major prison problem. We can't house enough criminals on the streets. So then we don't have a limit on how many people we can house. Just drop them off in Australia.
Oh, you know what?
Middle of the desert.
You know what?
What?
I mean, I'm sure a lot of them wouldn't like that, but like because this is what you hear from the boomers. This is what you hear from Ken. It's like, well, if we deported every single illegal, what would happen to the workforce? Let's bring the Australians here.
Bring the Australians, bring the South Africans, the ones that are actually trying to escape asylum. Chris B says, I live in Dayton. Well,
because
you got a couple years, dude. You got a couple years. Find a map.
Start buying as much barbed wire and radioactive isotopes as you can.
I have a feeling the leftist anarchists would start to have second thoughts about what they want to accomplish.
Nope.
I don't think so, dude. But,
Nope.
Because here's why. If that were the case, then they would already have. Because they live in a delusion. They live in this fantasy world that they've padded up themselves. If they lived in reality, they would already have second thoughts about the thing. But they're hiding from it.
Well, and you have to understand is these people are either straight up evil or like you can't put yourself in their shoes because they are so stupid and delusional. Like these people, the thought that the reason that Mexico sucks and America is profitable is it has anything to do with them has never entered their minds. It is always somebody else's fault. And yeah, like I'm not saying every single Hispanic person ever born has never thought that thought before. But the problem is it's not enough of them to be meaningful. The majority of them will never accept responsibility, and they see this as getting even. They see this as our comeuppance. Maybe the only reason we're prosperous is and they're not is because we cheated. Is because Americans cheated.
Why didn't you ignore them? I'm not sure which one specifically. Was it?
Why didn't?
Illegal immigrants must go back home. Oh, I'm confused.
Maybe the one before that?
The problem is that whites are stupid and give citizenship just because you are born here. Most of those protesters are born in California. Trust me, I'm from LA and no homies when I see them. Right. Well, me and I believe Josh is also retroactively would remove naturalization and birthright citizenship.
Yep.
Probably 2 generations.
I would absolutely be fine with having my citizenship temporarily put in stasis.
It would depend.
Sure, but like if I had to pass a civics test, I would happily do that.
Like anchor babies? No.
Oh, no.
Like
yeah,
if you're first generation American with birthright citizenship here and neither of your parents have citizenship, you are by definition anchor baby and it should be revoked.
If you were born
then deported.
If you were born after 1980 and your parents don't have citizenship, yours is revoked.
Yeah, there will probably be a couple of stipulations on that. But
sure.
Yeah, but I mean
that's
the basic
starting
that's
point.
the basic argument. Dayton is already invaded not far from Springfield and it's Little Haiti. Springfield, Ohio. Oh, really?
Oh, that sucks.
So the movement will not grow. Oh, he's talking about they're not playing right into the strong response that will result in the opposite of what they are calling for. Here's the deal with the protest or the riots. They're doing just enough to cause mass chaos without doing so much so that Trump is justified in sending in the Marines. Right? They're towing this line of 2020 BLM Summer of Love. Like this is a playbook that they have. They know what to do. They know what not to do because they've done it before. It's copy and paste. I mean, it's what? June, July, August. We still got 2 more months of this, Josh.
Great.
Unless something's done about it. But the problem is they're not doing enough to actually send somebody in that's going to actually do something about it. Right? This is an argument that I make, is that if we just keep using non-lethal, nobody cares. Right? I mean, if I'm invading your country and you shoot me with a little beanbag, ouch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Then I'll go home and keep sucking off the system, you know?
Yeah. The message where I said you were being disingenuous. I don't think I probably addressed it without actually
Which
reading it.
What did he say?
This one, Libya buried off without Americans. Well, I went on about that one, didn't I?
Yeah.
Maybe it's
I
not
don't know.
showing up. It might not be showing up, baby.
Oh, did you say a bad thing?
Yeah, it might have
Where
picked
you're
it up
being
in the chat.
disingenuous and you didn't read that. He's probably talking about you being like allegedly hypocritical, but you kind of
thought we
addressed
addressed
that.
that.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, resend it again.
Yeah, resend it again if we're missing the point.
With whatever words YouTube banned you on. What does the Constitution say about babies born in the U.S. to immigrant parents?
I don't think it does. Does it?
Well,
And even if it did, I don't care. Rewrite it.
yeah.
Amended.
The Constitution is a very, very malleable document, as we see with the what we do Friday, Civil Rights Act. Completely overrid the Constitution. Constitution just a piece of paper, brother. Ask Libya. A constitution is only backed by the people of the nation. The Constitution is the people. Again, we'll call back to no, not Libya, Liberia. Sorry, I got Libya in the head because baby, you know, said it earlier. Chat, where we at? Oh, they were also saying this. Leaks now coming out saying Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass interfered in LA operations yesterday and prevented police from responding to ICE and government ICE agents calling for assistance when they were overrun by violent leftist rioters. This is prison time.
That's treason.
Yes.
That's treasonous. She should not be allowed to have knees.
Update after this leak was made public, quickly put out a statement saying that those responsible for violence, destruction, vandalism will be held responsible. Yeah. I mean, these people, the officials need to be lined up on the wall, man. I mean, it's really getting to that point. I got a couple more I wanted to pull up. Let's see if I can. What's this idiot saying? Honestly, didn't expect this would happen at a joint menswear forum 50 years ago. See, why, like, how are they this bold? Like, dude, you don't even belong here, and you're coming after the president. It's like, or the vice president. Like, think what you will of JD Vance, but these people shouldn't be here.
I agree. You know, and you know me, I don't like JD Vance. I think he's bad news, but I mean, he is the vice president and he deserves respect. And some foreigner like getting in his face and bossing and like being all snarky.
Like if it wasn't in the middle of LA riots, we're being invaded, it would be okay. Maybe dude needs to shut up. And maybe if he wasn't like boastful about being here illegally, it would be different. But it's like, right now, dude. Right now.
Yeah. Get him out. Bye bye. Home to mommy. Bye bye.
And then you get commie retards like Tim Pool over here. It's all Reagan's fault. Josh, is it all Reagan's fault?
No.
Let's blame Reagan for this absolute disaster. The answer, does Reagan hold some fault? Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, a little bit.
But it's all
Reagan's fault.
There's nobody else to blame. Do people even watch him?
Dude,
I've never
man.
watched Tim Pool a day in my life.
I watched him when he read articles just to keep up with news on the YouTube, but now he's doing his podcast and I don't watch that at all.
He just read articles?
Yeah, call them glorified article readers. Him and Jeremy at the Quartering and Benny Johnson.
Yeah.
They just bring up like 2 or 3 articles and maybe a video or 2. I thought about doing it. I actually might still do it, chat. Because it hits the algorithm and it goes. Because it's up-to-date news and it's quick. And that's how you build an audience, which is what he did. And then he started laying off of it a little bit.
I was going to say, we need to revise our strategy a little bit, and maybe that's it.
Yep. You don't hate journalists enough, boys. Oh, this was a decent tweet, I think, if it's one I remember. Oh, they deleted a tweet. I keep seeing this dumb take all over Twitter. This might answer Michelle G's comment earlier. California is part of Mexico, but Spanish colonized. Wow. The Spanish colonized in the 1500s. It was a colonial property of a European country, you dumbasses. Mexico owned California independent of Spain for like 20 years before they lost the Mexican-American War. California has been part of the United States for almost 10 times longer than it was part of the independent Mexico.
And I want to say this. I mean, that's true and everything, and that's all fine and dandy. But I don't care if we overtook California last year. It's ours now, and it will never be yours again. I don't like this whole like I feel like so much of politics is people getting wrapped up in explaining like why it isn't a double standard. I don't need to explain to you why I want to do the things I want to do. I can explain it to people that are open-minded, but like trying to explain to these people why they're wrong, it's like pissing in the wind, shouting into the void. It doesn't matter. Just go to their houses, round them up, and send them back home.
You know who John Rocker is?
Yeah. I know exactly.
Imagine having to take the number 7 train to the ballpark.
I've seen this video. It's awesome.
Yeah, this is probably top 10 edits of all time.
This is a banger.
It made the Sports Illustrated writer Jeff Pearlman that caused a national outcry. Quote, imagine having to take the number 7 train to the ballpark, looking like you're riding through Beirut next to some kid with purple hair. It's depressing. And about New York City itself, Rocker said, the biggest thing I don't like about New York are the foreigners. I'm not a very big fan of foreigners.
All right.
I saw a thing like in an edit with this edit where it was, I don't know if he was on Survivor or something, but there was some Indian girl and she was like, why you say something homophobic like in your past? And he was like, if you're a man, I'd knock your teeth out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Based.
He's pretty good.
Giga Chad, dude. Like that's what an American dude, that's what people should think of when they think of America. Look at that dude.
Yeah, he's like 6'4", like 300 pounds or something. He's massive. He's huge.
We need to clone him and then just send the clones into LA and have him like rip people's heads off at the mouth. That's what needs to happen.
Yeah, Crispy said message got filtered. Let me see if I can find the new one. I said you were being disingenuous for saying we have to drop food in Africa. They have been kicking out the European countries lately because they don't need them.
Oh, no.
Europe wants to go back in.
I mean,
I don't think. I mean, it lately doesn't matter. I mean, they've had cargo cults for like 40 years. I mean, this isn't. I mean, it's not like it's something new.
And so what's going to happen to the cargo cults in Africa when this country's government is completely occupied by Africans and foreigners and then falls apart completely? It's going to happen eventually unless we do something to get our affairs in order here.
Oh, Crispy, yeah, no, definitely. I mean, Reagan, not only the amnesty that Reagan gave them, but the defunding of mental asylums from Reagan is a very, very major issue. I mean, all these purple-haired leftists would be locked up in quasi-prisons, and they wouldn't be able to vote. And so we wouldn't even have this issue to start with, right? It's just what they call it, shit stacked on top of shit. We got a 6 foot tall shit dude to deal with right now. Like that's what we're dealing with. I mean, it's not one thing; it's all the things. And yes, Reagan definitely didn't help, and amnesty was a big part of it. If the Mexican government was smart, they can just hand out 300 rifles and they could take LA and control parts of the industrial zone. Well, I'll tell you what, the Mexican president has basically come out and aggressed against the United States in that saying remittance taxes on money coming into to Mexico is like shouldn't happen. So she's like emboldened these. Let me see if I can find exactly what she said. Did I retweet that? Boom, boom, boom. There we go. Chat, I'm on it today, kind of, sometimes.
Porque no queremos que haya impuestos a las remesas de nuestros paisanos.
Yeah, let me press
de
one real
Estados
quick.
Unidos a México.
Josh didn't get that reference fast enough for me.
What'd you say?
I said, let me press one real quick. Press 2 for Mexican, Spanish, Española. Mexico's president just said, if necessarily, we'll mobilize. We don't want taxes on remittance. Our fellow countrymen from the U.S. to Mexico. A head of state openly calling for protests in the United States is unprecedented. It's exactly what it is. She's emboldened protesters or rioters, if you will. This is what Willie P was talking about. I mean, she's already doing it. They're already doing it. They don't have to because they're already there. They don't have to arm anybody because they already have the guns in the United States, which they've lived in. So, I don't know. Sparky said, we need Africa for the resources in order to build our technocratic state. Africa is still the basket case for useful materials. Well, China sure does believe that. I mean, they got slave mining going on all over the place in Africa. The problem is demographics in California. Mexicans have the upper hand and they have more bodies. Right. This is exactly what I was talking about earlier. I mean, there's like 2 million as a extremely conservative number of illegals in California. I mean, even like I said, even if you did send in the Marine Corps, every bit of the Marine Corps is 200,000 people. Who would you say is the most current ultimate patriot? Probably Stephen Miller.
No. You're more of a patriot than that guy is. That you would know, Donald Trump.
Chris B said, almost, just a little, just like maybe like squint a little bit, maybe like a lot, squint a lot. Yeah, she's
shapeshifters, dude.
She needs a little bit more tan to blend in. I think that's what it is. She needs some more tan, lose a couple inches, and gain a few pounds. Eat some more tortillas. That might be mean, but it's true. Sorry, chat. Sorry, chat, if you're Mexican in the chat. If you're still here and you're Mexican, congrats, dude. You're making it.
Pack your bags.
I don't have a filter if you can't tell, chat. Did we get all of them? All right. Back on. Let me scroll. Any, mini, miny. It was a woe tweet, actually. Let me see. Boom. All right. Here's the chart I was looking at. Anytime you hear Compton, California, remember this table. Racial demographics in Compton, California by decade, 1900 to 2020. I'm going to let you look at this chart for like a half a second, Josh, and then you tell me what you notice.
All right. In 1900, 98% white. Let's fast forward to 1950, 71%. And 2020 is 0.5.
So California went from 95% 1940 to 1.5%, or at least Compton did, 1.5% in 1970. That's basically an erasure in 30 years.
Yep.
That's insane.
Retake the land.
That's absolutely insane. I mean, I will note the Hispanics all counted as white up until about 1950, 1960. So that's what this is, and that might contribute to a little bit of this. But the problem is, even if you maintain this 95% here, and you just accounted for increase of population, this number would be less than 20%. This is an influx of foreigners. These numbers right here. Oh, made it way too big. I mean, that just gives you an idea of how fast you can be invaded and displaced. I mean, 30 years is not that long, dude.
No, not at all. I'm almost
What
30.
year were you born?
97. I'm almost 30. I'm 27 years old.
What were we going to watch? Oh, some Theo Von, JD Vance clips.
Yeah.
And then you got JD Vance out here tweeting, insurrectionists carrying foreign flags are attacking enforcement officers. While one half of the American political leadership has decided that border enforcement is evil, time to pass President Trump's big beautiful bill and further secure the border. I'm sorry, I was reading it wasn't on screen. I'm sorry, chat. But is the big beautiful bill primarily geared towards immigration?
Okay, because that's immediately what I was thinking when I read that, and I was like, look, we're talking about, I don't want to rain on your parade with JD Vance and whatnot, but that was...
Stephen Miller was basically saying the same thing too.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot more than just the immigration in there. Obviously.
At this point, is the immigration in there?
Probably not.
If it's in there, pass it. If it's not, I don't care. I couldn't care less. Asterisk. What else is in that bill if we can fix the immigration? Really? I mean, I'll make significant concessions to fix the illegal problem in the United States. I thought this was a really good post by Woe too. It didn't get that many retweets. It was a reply to somebody. He says, "None of us chose our ancestors, which is the best reminder to make sure we don't screw over our descendants with our decisions." And I think that is the case when it comes to me talking about America and Americans and Black Americans and everybody and all this stuff. It's like, I'm a preservationist for myself, my descendants, and what I consider to be my nation. And I don't blame you for doing the same thing. So don't hold that against me as if I'm a hypocrite. Not calling Baby Uno out or anything, but that's kind of my point, is like, you should be a self-preservationist for yourself, your family, and your people.
100%.
I don't blame you for that. In fact, I think you should be obligated and should. And sometimes that's at odds with other people being self-preservationists. That's just the nature of the world that we live in, especially in a state of the world as it is today, where you have just an influx of different types of people into this Babylonian empire, which is America. I mean, we built the Tower of Babel and then we expect people to work together. That's not how it works. Sparky said, when it says white, does it include Jews? Always. But I would be willing to bet a lot of money that 1950s Compton probably didn't have many Jews in it.
Probably not.
They're all holed up in New York and New Jersey. What if this is God's punishment for accepting LGBT globalism and all the other bad stuff? Well, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say it's God's punishment outside of it just being the nature of the world, the nature of humans, the nature of reality, the nature of good and evil.
Yeah, and I think a part of it is this idea that, like, if you commit sin, God will send things to punish you. Like if you are like Sodom and Gomorrah.
Consequences.
You know, it's like Sodom and Gomorrah. People think if you accept homosexuality, God's going to send a meteorite to destroy you. The evil destroys itself. The consequences of accepting homosexuality are the issues that arise from it. Like think of homosexuals. I mean, they spread disease, they cause themselves immense health problems. God doesn't need to send them a meteor because they're destroying themselves. And that's exactly so. In a way, in a sense, you are correct that this is punishment, but I don't think it's punishment on us. You know, and so for us to try and turn things around would not be subverting God's will, if that makes sense.
I don't know if anybody knows who this is on the Twitter. Is Frogwave? He's probably had 6 or 7 accounts and they've all been banned. But he posts some absolute bangers. So anytime he pops up, you got to give him a follow. But this one is let me tell you what your country is. Your country is a place for foreigners. Foreigner.
There you go.
That's it, dude. I need to start saving some of his old tweets. They're bangers. Oh, also, these people need to be tortured before they're killed.
Florida monster kills ex-girlfriend's toddler daughter with beating so brutal her spine was severed.
Having an unrelated live-in boyfriend increases the likelihood of your child being molested by 40 times. Likelihood of dying from inflicted injuries 50 times. Significantly more dangerous than driving drunk with your kids, but accepted as routine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's the destruction of the culture that used to be. And this is did God send these, I don't know, baby murderers? No, they exist. They just exist out of nature because we've refused to do anything about it. Maybe that answers your question a little bit more directly.
This guy, like, if this guy were born in the 1950s, would he still have beat his girlfriend's daughter to death?
He probably wouldn't have made it that far. I'm sure there was some early signs that he would have been taken care of.
Well, I mean,
but yes,
it's like, and here's the thing: is it's like this idea that only the mentally ill do things like this. But what are the, like, being mentally ill is like commonplace. Like, most people these days would be considered not well adjusted.
Well, we don't do anything about it. We enable them, actually.
Right.
We tolerate it. Toleration is enablism. We have to learn from history. For example, the Spanish came back from the brink of extinction and reconquered Spain from the invading Muslims, almost 800 years of control. So it's possible to push back. Yeah, I had a Twitter debate spat with some dude that refused to kind of engage, and then he started lying about me that I was defending the papacy, which I've never done and I never will do because the papacy is a lie. But I was like, dude, I was saying we need to start using live rounds in this invasion. And he said something about, oh, Christian side of Twitter, Christian nationalists, blah, blah, blah. I can't remember exactly what he said. But he was saying that Christians shouldn't take up arms. I was like, and I just tweeted back the Crusades were justified. And he was like, no, they weren't. No, they weren't. We'll just get invaded by Muslims for an extra 80,000, 100,000 years after the 800 years they were already invading. It's like, dude, at some point you have to protect yourself. And by protect yourself, I mean remove the dangerous people from society. That includes these people and people invading, burning cars to the ground. But yeah, the Spanish did come back with the
from the brink of extinction.
Yeah, from the brink of extinction. And then 1492, they had a golden age. I don't know why they would have had a golden age in 1942, Josh.
In 1942?
In 1492.
Yeah.
There's kind of just a side note there. Deuteronomy does say God will send foreigners as punishment, bro. It's clearly there. This was, if you keep reading it, it says they will usurp and gain power within your system and then essentially take control of it from the inside. I believe he was specifically talking about Israel. It was a specific nation, but yes, I mean,
it's not you're arguing it's not a universal rule,
right,
which I would say, like,
I would have used this in a debate. I mean,
there's so many things in Scripture that are, when we say contextual, we don't mean like atheists take it out of context. It's literally like it's referring to a specific instance in time.
You make me look it up again. But yeah, it's very. I think it's a very specific application. But I don't deny an interventionist God. I think Josh does.
No, I don't. I'm just saying, like, it's the same reason. It's like, why does God heal some babies with leukemia and not others? It depends, and we don't know why. I mean, we don't know. Like you can argue that there's a reason, like, that baby has like a grand purpose. Who know, but we don't know. In the same way, like, I think God does send meteors to destroy nations. God sends earthquakes to destroy nations. He probably sent that earthquake to ravage Haiti, because they practice witchcraft and voodoo.
Sparky asks, so what happens when Trump term ends? We'll probably have the Democrats back in office again. I don't know. I would like to get through midterms first before looking at the next presidential election. I don't think midterms look terrible as bad as some people claim they are. I mean, typically midterms go the opposite way the presidency does. So we'll have to see what midterms look like. Usually they're a lot less messed with in general, as in they're a lot less rigged. What?
What's that noise?
I think it's the AC.
Should probably turn it up because it's set to 62.
It might be broken. It is warm in here, isn't it?
A little bit.
All right, let me go do that. But yeah, I mean, do Democrats win their next election, Josh? Presidential election?
I'm thinking no. I'm thinking Vance
Who
wins.
runs?
Vance.
Vance Miller?
Probably. Anything else we want to discuss today, boys, in the chat? I mean, I definitely think that I'm like God intervenes. Like, I mean, I'm not one of these like. I've definitely seen those types where it's like everything in the Bible. Yeah, God is real, but everything in the Bible is metaphorical. I'm definitely not one of those types. Where you going?
Look at some J. Vance Theo Vaughn clips.
All right. Let me take a looky-do at some of these. Where'd the mouse go? Oh, shoot. All right. So, good question. Are we even God's nation anymore? It's a good question. It's a good question. Hold on. Where's React?
What?
Here, I'll just let you find it.
I'm eating Charlie gummy worms, guys. Yummy, yummy. Life's good.
Hand me one.
That's all you need.
Thank you, sir.
All right. How do we find...
Those are good.
I just go to like Theo Vaughn.
That's good too.
This is a good tweet.
Literally. I just watched that movie the other day.
I thought about rewatching it again. I haven't seen it
They're
since,
good, dude. They are
since it first
super
came
good.
out.
There's a
Was it
lot.
like
There's
10
a lot.
hours?
I watched the extended edition, which they are like 10 hours. I mean, I watched them over the course of like an entire week, but there's a lot of like really good lessons in there. It's clearly like biblical.
Honey lizard, sackler. So you're from a region that was...
Yeah.
Dude, I'll tell you this. I heard that Frederick Douglass, I heard Frederick Douglass was gay. And I'll tell you, I swear.
Who told you that?
I've heard it from probably almost 15, not 15 people. I've heard it from 4 people.
Where do you go to find the people who tell you that Frederick Douglass is gay? It must,
Look, I'll tell you this.
You must hang out more interesting places than I do.
It wasn't white people that told me.
Really?
So
Okay.
out of the gate, I am giving it a little bit more credibility. And that's why he wanted to free all those men, because he was having trouble meeting anybody.
Is that right?
Because everybody was at work.
That's, I'm going to talk.
JD Vance, congratulations, dude. Congratulations.
Man, we're going to talk to the Smithsonian about putting up an exhibit on that. And Theo...
I didn't see that clip before. Chat, you get some ASMR today. Congrats.
Pull it up. Let's see it.
This
Let's take a
post is
gander.
from an account you muted. I'm
Did we
curious.
watch this the other day?
Who did you mute?
JD Vance starts cracking up on Theo's
Who
show
is
when he
that guy?
realizes his producer has
he
his
have-
mic
oh, wait,
muted.
This is interesting. Go
Pull
back.
it up. Let's see it.
This
Let's take a
post is
gander.
from an account you muted. I'm curious. Who did you mute?
Who is that guy?
Is that yours?
I have him blocked too.
Ian Mealy's Shong. Oh, it said Trump should be impeached and JD Vance should replace him. Dude, that's one vote.
Oh, my God.
See, Elon's deleted all these tweets now. He quote tweeted him and said yes. Did we review this the other day?
Yeah, we did.
Okay.
Yeah, we talked about email.
Chat. Tell me Josh doesn't look like and act like.
I'm not saying you have to feel. If you
tell me he doesn't. Chat. Tell me Josh doesn't look.
All I'm saying is, I've definitely got the gesticulation, the same like sort of hand movements. He go poop. What the hell? What's going on in chat? Oh, he's talking about you when you got up to leave. I did not realize. I mean, I was a little shocked to find out Tim Dillon was gay. He doesn't seem gay.
Okay.
Right.
Baby Nina says, no, bro. The context is God will punish his enemies, aka nation, if they fall away, unless you're saying we as a nation are not God's people, which is worse. Well, yes, it is saying that God will punish his enemy and just punish his people. But I don't think you're understanding what I'm saying is that
being Hispanic is not a sin.
We are falling away. The church, the Christians, have been falling away since the early 1900s. And this is very evident in the direction of the country and the direction of the culture. What I'm arguing is that you don't need God's intervention because the evil itself will do the work, which it evidently has.
That's what I was saying. The evil is the evil causes the punishment.
Right.
It's not. It's kind of like saying
you don't need
the
God's
evil.
intervention.
It's like saying America could turn away from God and be prosperous, and then God has to punish them. It's like turning away from God will inevitably reap destruction.
Correct. I'm not saying he doesn't. What I'm saying is it's not necessary every time.
Right. The point being, like, Sodom and Gomorrah would have fallen eventually. It would have destroyed itself eventually. But God saw fit to annihilate it.
Gummy worms, chat. I think we're Israeli nationalists now. Yeah. Oh, we're chat looking at the that tweet. Yeah. No. Here's what you have. Here's what you have, Josh. You have a bunch of officials saying, "Oh, they're waving Mexican flags. Let's deport them back to Mexico." You're the one with an Israeli flag on your door of Congress.
Absolutely.
You gotta go.
Yeah, right.
You.
Yeah. Go into a presidential debate with an Israeli flag and not an American one on your lapel.
Oh,
bye.
I'm better. I get to stay with my dual citizenship. That's another thing. After we revoke birthright citizenship, we need to mandate every dual citizen has to revoke one of their citizenships.
Yeah, dual citizenship should not be a thing. You can either be an American
or you cannot be an American.
Or you cannot be an American.
No, I'll take that back. I'll take it back. You don't get a choice. You're gone. Yeah, that's what Sparky was saying too. Yeah, I mean, these people are delusional. They're like, oh, they're waving a Mexican flag. I can't even do the gay voice. I'm allergic to it. Sorry. For the blasphemy Mexicans have done, America should use it as an excuse to take big chunk of Mexico. That's what a lot of people are saying. So they'll never do it again, demoralize them so bad. That's what a lot of people are saying. Here's my position.
It's not a bad one.
We take everything down to the Panama Canal. I feel like that's a lot easier to manage, the Panama Canal, than it is like the Rio de Janeiro line.
Uh-huh.
And we just make it a Puerto Rico style territory.
Okay.
I know it's like 18 countries, but I don't care.
Yeah.
They're all Mexicans.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Chad, they're all Mexicans. Everybody in Central America is Mexican. You heard it here first.
You belong to us. Now try and stop us. You don't like it? You can start swimming.
What was Tim Dillon talking about other than looking like Josh? Tim Dillon said there's an effort by Palantir to court influencers in order to ascertain support for the new surveillance state around the same time JD Vance gets on Theos. This was a good bit. I think I did see this.
I
clip.
did not.
Not one reservation about what's going on over there. I'm not saying you have to feel one way or another way, but if you don't have any if you have no reservations about what's happening with all these kids getting killed, I don't know, I can't trust you. If you don't have any reservations about Palantir taking everyone's information, I don't know. I don't know if I can trust you. I think they're buying people left and right. This is my guess.
I gotta go get buddy.
They try to buy me. My pussy costs a lot of money.
Chat. I gotta go pick up buddy. If Josh is still alive when I get back, we'll jump on, but we'll see. Good talking to you today. We got to send all the Mexican flag waivers back and the Israeli flag waivers back. I gotta go pick him up from school.
Oh, yeah.
Daycare, whatever it's called.
Gotcha.
Sorry, chat. Pieces.
Adios. Get the hell out of here. Get the frick out of here. All right, I want to see what Tim Dillon has to say.
I get invited to these dinners. I don't go. I've been invited to Teal's house multiple times for dinner. I don't go. It's no shade at them. Or whatever, you know? The reason I don't go is I remember one dinner, they're like, we'd like to discuss the media. I go, what? No, thanks. We'd like to discuss dinner. We discuss the media and culture. No, thanks. Appreciate it. That's fine. Don't need a... Here's what I'm doing every week. I'm discussing the media. Hey, good news, I have a show. You can listen to it. You can listen to it if you're curious about it. But I've been to some of these places. I've sat in these houses in Austin with these tech people. And I know what they want. And I know what they want me to go out and cheerlead for and say, well, it's actually a great idea. And there's probably a lot of money in it. There's probably a lot of money. And I just can't do it. It's not because I'm some great moral I wouldn't be good at it. I'd be terrible at coming on here going, well, the good thing about the list. Well, no, if you actually think about the list this way, all my people that listen every week go, what the fuck happened to him? What the fuck happened to him? So my prediction, and I don't want to name names because I don't know, but my prediction is you're going to see a lot of people over the next 6 months start thinking this list's a great idea. They're going to start telling you how great this is and how it's about terrorism. That's that'll start going, well, it's a terror. Have you heard? Is terrorism going to...
I don't want to... the image of Tim Dillon making that noise in my head. Wonder where he learned that. But how many people we got watching? 20 people. Whoa. All right, guys. All right. Zeb keeps me in the basement, and I need you all to help me. No, I'm kidding. Is that getting old at this point? But basically, this is... I was talking about this with a coworker today. And we're in a situation where to solve one problem, you have to solve all of them. And you can't really do that. I mean, and the thing is Donald Trump ran in 2016 about draining the swamp, which is all fine and dandy. But I think what have we learned from watching Donald Trump attempt to drain the swamp? We've learned that the swamp is so much more deep and murky than we ever even thought, and their ability to fight back is uncanny. And so now it's I was that way too. In 2016, I was like, hey, let's drain the swamp. The swamp, what do you get when you drain a swamp? You just get some crap ass land. We need to completely overthrow the system, non-violently, because that will never happen. But if you don't solve all the problems, And wait, what are you saying, Ninja? Welcome, Ninja. I think it's your first comment. If you don't solve all the problems, don't even try. I don't know if you're being sarcastic because for some of our regular audience members, I've kind of accrued this reputation on the show of being the black pillar, but I'm really not. I think history keeps on moving. Time keeps on going. In like the way that you feel about things right now, someone 500 years from now will feel the exact same way. Now, Jesus may come back before then, but who knows? I don't. But anyway, the point being is like, we have to try, but we can't delude ourselves into thinking that just because we want things to get better, any sign that they are getting better means that they are better. You know what I mean? I figured that's what you're doing. I'm being black pill facetious. I figured that's what you're doing, which is not what I'm saying. I'm saying we do need to try, even in the face of all these horrible odds. But what concerns me is people get so caught up on things that don't actually matter. They get caught up on things that aren't actually relevant. And I see this a lot in my coworkers. If you guys, I mentioned it before, I work on a radio show. Like my full-time job is I'm a producer for a conservative political morning talk show here in South Carolina. And the host of the show, he's 61 years old. And a lot of the audience, a lot of the demographics of the audience is around that same thing. They're white men in their 60s, maybe 40s or whatever. And like you typically hear people say that's a bad thing. Like these are the movers and shakers of all time, pretty much. However, that's besides the point. My point being is like I see so much. Like the guy I had on the show last week, Dr. Joe. They want to see the finish line. They're old and they want to see things get better so bad that they will rationalize, they'll attach themselves to any little thing that has a thumbs up next to it from the conservatives and argue that yes, this is a victory. We are winning. And I'm not saying that we've lost. I'm not saying that we're losing. But the point is like I feel like even Zeb at times, he has this overestimation of the process. I think that in a way, like, because here's the thing. In a way, Trump's rhetoric about illegals from 2016 has a direct correlation, directly led to the massive influx of illegals that we got during the Biden years. Because even the Democrats before then, yeah, they were pro-immigration and the type of ICE raids and things that were going on, that are going on now, they'd put up a fight, but they wouldn't put up a huge fight. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I'm not saying that they'd be pro deporting people, but now because of Donald Trump's rhetoric about illegal immigration, you see a fanatical turn from the left that basically is like, well, illegal immigrants are just as American as Americans. So for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. And that's the thing. And that's kind of what I'm getting at here is it's like, we need to be honest about our circumstance. Yes, like the things that Donald Trump is saying are true. And I'm not saying he shouldn't say them. Don't get me wrong. He absolutely should. All the things Donald Trump says need to be said. But the problem is he started to say those things. We started to say those things, but we acted like the reaction from the left is unreasonable. It is like in a very objective sense, it is unreasonable. Like their position is not logical. Their position is unreasonable. But our response, we weren't ready for it. We weren't prepared for the reaction that they were giving. And that's the thing with this. I was watching Nick Fuentes and he said, someone is going to get killed in these riots. A cop, a protester, things are going to come to a head and somebody is going to be hurt. What Donald Trump needs to do is he needs to get ahead of it. And he needs to say that. He needs to say, if you don't disperse, if you don't quit causing problems, somebody, not we're going to come hurt you, but someone's going to get hurt. So that when it happens, then he has the excuse. He goes, well, okay, now we have to intervene because you are out of control. And that's just a specific example. We need to start thinking proactively, retroactively about all these things. It's not enough for us to just identify the problem and then try and fix it. We need to understand that there are forces in this world that are actively working against us. And we can't just pretend they're not. That's the problem, is like we know they're there, but we act as if they're not, even when we come to power. I mean, Donald Trump, he got into office and he tried to make peace with the enemy. And then what happened? He got they tried to subvert him as much as they could. They impeached him twice. And then when they got out, they threatened to throw him in jail for 300 years. That wouldn't happen if he had gone for them first. We need to become what the left fears. We're so concerned with the Constitution and freedom of speech and liberty and stuff like that. We're shooting ourselves in the foot. We constantly point out how the left is anti-American. The left, they don't respect the Constitution. They don't hold the same values as us. No shit. That's why we disagree with them. We need, and so what we need to do is, like, first off, our values should not begin in it. The Constitution should not be our North Star. Christ should be our North Star. And my point is like, we need to identify very real truth about us. America is not just a country, it's a nation. Those are two distinct things. We're not just a country, we're a nation. The illegals pose a threat to that. Outbreeding the native-born Americans, black and white, but mostly white, that is a problem. If you get rid of all the heritage Americans, it will no longer be America. It'll be New India. It'll be New China. It'll be New Haiti. It'll be all these like just imitate. It'll be an imitation of these cheap shithole countries here. That's why we need to basically say, yeah, bye-bye, abuelita. I know that you moved here 30 years ago from Mexico, still can't speak English though, and you've never hurt anyone's feelings or caused any problems. You gotta go. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. So that's, come on, where are you? That's kind of my take on just the situation we're in. Oh, shoot, the chat. Hold on. Let me catch up on the chat. Oh, no, wait, the chat was caught up. Never mind. Oops. Let me try and Vance Theo Vaughn lobbying. I want to find a specific clip from the Vance stream. Okay, I think this is it. Give me a second here, guys. This system is extremely buggy today. Give me 1 second. Let's do outline. All right. Scroll up. Sorry. Hold on, guys. Bear with me. Blup, blup, bloop, bloop. Beep, up. Boop, up. Sing a little song. Do a little dance. God, this thing is so slow. Can you see it? All right. I think this is it. Let me unmute. Boom.
I ran for the Ohio Senate race.
Nope.
I won. So take my Senate race. First time I ever ran for office was 2022. I ran for the Ohio Senate race. I won.
You did?
That race, yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Thank you. That's good. Yeah.
Shit. That's not what I was looking for.
If I hadn't won, I wouldn't be sitting here.
Is this it? Twitter's weird, man. I'm not used
to pressures of politics to just do what's right.
Well, people are afraid to get
what's right. So the pharmaceutical industry gives a ton of money to Republicans and Democrats. And I'll tell you, they were not happy when the president did that. And the president's attitude is, look, it's the right thing for the American people. So I think, again, it's an example of when you've got to tune out the financial pressures of politics to just do what's right.
Well, people are afraid to get, people are getting afraid to get sick, not because.
All right, hold on. We got to find this clip. I wonder if the clip is kind of being shadow banned. Discuss government grift. All right, this might be it. I saw it kind of out of context. So hold on.
Crazy stuff. Sometimes spinning it on like And I mean, look, Doge continues within the White House and within the executive of the country. I mean, look, there's a lot of ways in which we are wasting the American people's money.
Yeah.
Sometimes spending it on crazy stuff. Sometimes spending it on like actually counterproductive stuff. I think Doge has saved already at least 170, maybe $200 billion. Hopefully it's going to save more. But yeah, I think it was very
so
worthwhile.
much money. How
that's
could
a ton
you,
of money.
How do they not, how would you not even notice that? If that much money,
there's so much I could tell you about this. Okay, so one of the crazy things we all figured out like first week or so we're in the White House, okay, is there was a payment that should be stopped because the president signed an executive order to stop a payment. And this is like day one of the White House. We're like, okay, how do we stop this payment? Yeah. Because somebody's trying to make this payment. And nobody knew where like the computer was that actually wired the money from the U.S. taxpayer to this entity.
God.
So, dude, the amount of waste and the amount of just grift in the federal government.
Not what I'm looking for. Come on, Twitter, don't be such a piece of shit. Hold on. Theo Vaughn didn't know that JD Vance was used, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I don't care about that. God, what is this? I just saw a clip of JD Vance on Theo Vaughn. It's actually kind of concerning me that JD seems to be getting better at this. They obviously took in the weird criticism. I mean, he is weird. Let's be honest. Why did is this specific clip banned? Anyway, all right. I can't find it. And, like all the caption, like all the thumbnails look exactly the same. So we're just gonna have to deal with it. But basically, the clip that I was looking for, so Theo Vaughn asks JD Vance, hold on one second. I got a new comment here. Let me read this real quick. Sweet REM says, with Palantir, that wouldn't have happened, they could argue. What specifically? I don't know how long ago you wrote that comment, so sorry about that. But the what I wanted to address about the clip that I was trying to find is that Theo Vaughn brought up lobbying to JD Vance. And he talked about how, man, the American people, that we have an untenable situation. Yeah, they're going to argue that. But like, and here's my thing. I am against the level of surveillance that Palantir will inevitably have. However, I am not against a surveillance state as long as it's in the right hands. As long as it's run by Christians. If it was a Christian nationalist society that was basically a diet surveillance state, I'd be totally fine with that. You know, my boss, the host of the show I work for, he constantly says, I'm a Christian, I'm a nationalist, but I would never be a Christian nationalist because there's so many things that could go wrong. The nation, you got to find these angels. He says that. He goes, you got to find these angels to, and he's a smart guy. I'm not trying to put him down. I'm just running cover in case he sees this. No, I'm kidding. He is smart though. He says, try and find these angels for me, and then maybe I'll consider being a Christian nationalist. Okay, well, I'm trying, like, what about, okay, we're trying to find the people to run our country, and we're relying on, like, the bums, the lowest common denominator to run ours, and idiots that, like, Israel picked up off the street. I'd rather attempt to find good people to run our country than rely on this bullshit checks and balances system we have that isn't working. That's my point. But anyway, the Theo Vaughn clip. What did you say now? Here's a hot take and a good one. The Constitution needs to be suspended. Absolutely. We need martial law. We need dictator President Trump, God Emperor Trump, to reestablish order, build a border wall, get rid of judges. The police are now the judges. It's going to be a new federal agency that coordinates with the executive and has some kind of oversight per the Supreme Court stipulations. I mean, that's what they're going to say. But that's like they said a lot of things about the Patriot Act, but the truth is the Patriot Act is exactly what people feared it would be. And I have no good reason to assume that Palantir won't be exactly the same. But anyway, I'm gonna crap on Vance for a second here, and maybe Zeb will get back in time to protect his angel child. But JD Vance is bought and paid for by Peter Thiel. He is a creature of the establishment. He's a creature of the gay overlord Peter Thiel, and he's duped people like Zeb. And I like Zeb. I mean, I'm like a co-host on our show, and I think Zeb's a smart guy. But I don't know why he's falling for the Zamp goop, the Vance goop. JD Vance has changed his name twice, very Jewish of him, and he was against Donald Trump. He was against Donald Trump. He was in favor of Obama. He said Republicans that didn't vote for Obama were racist, and now he's seen the light. Now he is a Christian nationalist, just like us. Or is he duping us? Or is he faking it all? And he's playing the fence. He's playing the fence, and like he's doing all. He's never explicitly saying anything because he doesn't believe it. Zeb thinks it's because he's like hiding his true power level. It's because he doesn't believe it. It's because he's trying to trick people like Zeb and myself. Difference is I'm not falling for it, into following him. But he's no different. Like Peter Thiel is a literal faggot. He's a gay man, and he's trying to consolidate power and run our government essentially with all these foreigners. He's trying to remove the cap on H-1B visas. You think JD Vance with an Indian wife is going to be against H-1B visas? And then just like, and it's all this thing. Like I've been arguing JD Vance is bad news. I wish I could find the clip, but if you do your own research, if you can find the clips on your own, there's two. One where he talks about Palantir, and he says, oh, it's not what people say it is. It's totally fine. Give them your wallet, give them your kid's blood, with whatever. What's the big deal? Essentially. And then the other one is Theo Von was talking about, like, this is is it strange for people to have concerns that politicians are beholden to their donors? This seems like a pretty obvious take to me. Like, okay, a guy gave you $100 million to run for president, and it doesn't matter. Like, if that guy says, hey, you need to do this, he doesn't have a little bit of influence over you. But JD Vance's response to this was, well, the thing is that politicians, we run on issues, and the donors don't manipulate us. That would be ridiculous. They come to us because they agree with the issues we run on. Bullshit. I mean, and if I need to explain to you why that's just a lie, go watch something else. The technotronic era, the end of history, et cetera, is here. The truth is even if Peter Thiel accomplishes all his goals, he is still going to die and burn in hell forever. So God will win in the end. That's the white pill. God will win in the end. If this were true, like my problem is I don't know that Jesus is coming back in my lifetime. And even if he was, I have to live as if he wasn't. I can't live as if. That's the thing about modernity, is we cannot live as if each day is our last. In a certain sense we do, because it's like, hey, if it were my last day on earth, I wouldn't go to work. But if it were my last day on earth, I'd be praying my ass off. We need to be praying our ass offs every day. But the point being is, it's like, we have to act like we will have grandchildren and that they will have grandchildren. And we need to make a real effort to make the world a better place. And Peter Thiel, he accumulated billions of dollars worth of wealth. We need to start to get people to do that as well, so that they can be the movers and shakers to replace Peter Thiel. That's the thing. We need to start to think about power and how to accumulate it and how to move America first into the future. But with that being said, damn, man, sweet rims blowing up the chat. We're an inflection point, the genesis of post blah 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 blah. For the record, I agree with everything you said. But with that being said, I think I'm going to wrap it up for today. I don't have much else to say, and Zeb's not back, and he doesn't have much to say about what I just said, I assume. But with that being said, we're going to wrap up today's show. Thank you for watching Outside the Overton. Give us some idea, because we're trying to really start to make money with this thing. We've been doing it for a few months now, and we need to start to churn up some profits. So Zeb and I are going to have some meetings behind the scenes to see how we can do that. First thing we have to establish is our channel shadow banned. But with that being said, I'm going to wrap up today's episode of Outside the Overton. Thank you for watching. Zeb and I, we don't know if we'll be back here tomorrow, but we will be back on Wednesday for sure. But with that being said, thanks for watching. We'll see you soon.